Hello everyone, I am Pushkar and I'll be taking you through Zoho journey. This would be our first session. If you are watching this, thanks for your time. If you are not, believe me, you are not saving your time. Our agenda for this session would be how to create leads, account, deal, activities which includes tasks, events, calls, emails, how to attach different documents, that is KYC, COF agreement, how to assign tasks, how to see, create reports. The methodology that we would be following is I would be using two different accounts, one from the pre-sales representative and the other from the sales representative. So Sakshi would be our pre-sales representative and Anshul would be our sales representative. And we'll try and see that how sales and pre-sales work in tandem, how they work together, how they are dependent on each other, how they would work independently from each other for that same particular deal or lead. The journey we would be following is while understanding first the differences and similarities between Zoho and Pipedrive. So I'll start with similarities. So 80%, 80 to 90% of the function features that we have in Pipedrive are similar to Zoho. The only difference which we could say or we know of is that in Pipedrive we were not using the section called leads. Everything that we had was either a prospect or a deal, right? So we start from deal, we end with deal. Whereas in Zoho, we have to first create lead, then convert that lead into account, and then we convert that account into deal. So here the basic assumption that we have is, or if I could say the informed assumption that we have is, when we are in lead phase, 80% of the work is being done by pre-sales team, the communication with the client, the mails with client, the calls with client. That is 80% of that task is being carried by say pre-sales team, and the remaining 20 by sales team. But as we move or convert that prospect from lead to deal, 20% is being taken care by pre-sales team only. Rest 80% or the initial contact now becomes the sales representative. So moving on to journey, as you could see, this is Sakshi's account, right? And this is Anshul's account. So under Anshul's account, we haven't used any image, but for bifurcation, we have used SJ for which represents Sakshi Jain there. So we can see, or we would understand that we are using whose account. Fine. So moving ahead. So as soon as you log into your Zoho, this is your landing page, which is called home page over here. And this is the dashboard, a pre-built, predefined dashboard that Zoho provides you. We have 2 to 3 different views of this dashboard. So this is the classic view of dashboard. If you can change to the Sakshi Jain's home page. So this is the different view of dashboard wherein you have different parameters. You could see your open tasks. If you have any leads today, this is the amount by stage. This shows that in what particular stage there is the total number of deals that accounts to, right? So this is closing this month. All right, so let's directly jump to lead part. If I click on leads, this is the view which I land on. These are different filters which you could choose and find out a particular information, particular lead, particular company which you need to find out. You can minimize or expand these filters using this arrow. We have different views. So this is called the canvas view, and we have one more view by the name of tabular view. You can click the tabular view over here. Under canvas view, you can sort this basis on your requirement. So what I have already done over here is that I have applied a filter for created time and then descending order. So this will actually give me the latest deal, the recent created deal at the top. Let's start by creating one of the leads. So as you could see, we have a plus sign here. As soon as I click on the plus sign, I'm redirected to this form wherein I have to fill in the details. I'm using Sakshi's account, so by default, system will assign Sakshi as the lead owner, right? And then we have lead co-owner. Co-owner in this case would be a sales representative to whom I want to assign this particular lead. Since I'm using Sakshi and Anshul's account, so I would be assigning this lead, or I would be giving the authority credentials to Anshul also to view what's going into this lead. The concept of owner and co-owner is something that we have new in Zoho, which means that owner and co-owner have those credentials or authority to view any account, any deal that belongs to them. No one else apart from the admin rights or up their hierarchy would be able to see the details of this lead or deal. So right now we are creating a lead. So I'll put Anshul's name here. Lead created by Sakshi. This is company name. So as you would see, there is a suggestion which shows deal name, that is company slash location slash type. This simply shows that whenever I would be inputting the company name, and later on when I would be converting this lead into deal, this field will automatically be mapped to a deal name. I'll repeat again. Whatever company name I'll put here would eventually be mapped to a deal name when I would be converting this lead into deal. And for example, I have already quoted here that we would be using a common nomenclature wherein we would be having a company name first, accompanying with the location, and then type. So type would be hybrid, B2B, the different offerings that we have. But since we are in a lead phase, so it might so happen that I do not have the idea that what services client is looking for. So I can probably leave this type part, but I would want to have the company name and location. So I'll see, for example, I'll type the company name. So let's say Shuttle is one of our client and it's for Delhi location. If I already have an understanding that what kind of services, offerings or product client is looking for, I can simply mention here since it's a lead phase, or I might not write it. There would be other case also. You write it, let's say I'm writing hybrid. I don't know, it could be hybrid or it could be B2B, but later in when I would be converting this lead into deal, I can simply change this. But since I'll remember this, that's why I'm putting it hybrid over here, right? This is the title which says designation. So head admin, first name of the contact, it would be John Doe, and you could see the I have n number of fields, but you might have observed that there are certain fields which have the red left border to them, which simply indicates, reflects, represent that they are mandatory fields. So as of now, what I'll do, I'll simply fill in the information in mandatory fields and rest I'll keep blank. This is lead source, industry type, this is the lead status. So we have different stages for leads also here as we have for deals. So let's say select attempted to contact. This is the city. I'll put a description here. So you would see there are certain fields where we have this eye icon which represent information. As I hover my mouse over eye icon, I could see that some text is written there. So again, that's for your suggestion. I have simply copy pasted that text, and let's try and understand what exactly did that particular text mean. So this gives me an idea about that, what all information should I have in description. Again, we are trying to have a similar format across deals, leads, locations and representatives. So we have tried to give it a format. So let's say employee count would be 500. This is the type, so it would be company paid hybrid. Existing vendor, it's yes, they do have existing vendor, and that's the name of a vendor. Let's say the name of vendor is Route Travels. I put in Route Travels. The reason could be they are seeking a professional partner. If you have any other information, you can simply put in there, right? I'll save this. Now you would see different details which you could see. This is a note section, right? So these are different deals. So now you would see Anshul is the co-owner of this lead, and I have recently created this lead. Let's see if Anshul can see this lead in his account. As you could see, I don't have any leads over here. I'll simply refresh it and I should be able to see the lead created by Sakshi. So here it is. So there are two ways to get into this lead. Either I'll click here, I can open it, or I should go into lead section. I have already, sorted this basis on the recent lead at the top. So you would see this lead has been created. I'll click on this. I'll get into this particular lead, so I can see this. So I mean Anshul can also see this because he was the co-owner of that lead, and through this also you can directly get into the lead. So we'll be using the first tab. So this is the lead created by Sakshi, and see you can Anshul can view each and every information which has been created by Sakshi. Let's get into Sakshi's account. Let's assuming she is a pre-sales representative and she wants to make a call. So she'll click on call. Each and every information would be fetched from this lead, and she would simply put a call, click on call button, and let's say she has clicked on answered. So now the call has started. Let's understand this. This is very important. This call is not routed via Zoho. This is simply a representative functionality. So Sakshi is calling a client via his mobile. So it could be something like, let's say I'm Sakshi and I'm having a call. I dialed a number and I'm saying, hey John, I'm Sakshi from Shuttle, and we are doing we are doing a really wonderful job, and we have certain offerings. So I would just like to explore certain opportunities with your company if we could collaborate, right? So this conversation she is having on her phone, and this is kind of a representative box which is there. So let's say John says, yeah Sakshi, it seems interesting, and today I'm comparatively busy. How about if you give me a call tomorrow, right? So that's the discussion which Sakshi has. So Sakshi could simply mention, call John tomorrow, right? And she would put a date and she would end this call. If Sakshi wants to have a reminder for a call for tomorrow, she could simply click here. She would put a reminder, and let's say on the discuss time, say 11:30, she would click on done. It's done. So now you would see that I have one task under open activity, one task under close activity. So now what we do have this under close activity. So this was a call which Sakshi just made and had words with John. So this simply represent or reflect that particular activity, and this is the one that has been scheduled for tomorrow, right? So these are two different activities which Sakshi did. Let's say Sakshi also wants to write a note which probably she might have received some other important information with John. So it could be notes by Sakshi, right? She'll simply save it. Let's assume that Sakshi has already, it's tomorrow and Sakshi has done her all this one, and she somehow managed to get a meeting for Anshul, let's say for tomorrow itself. So now what Sakshi will do to arrange any meeting, we would be using task. Again, I repeat, for all the information that we want to log in for meetings, cold calls, lunch, proposals, we will mention it under task. So I'll simply click on task created by Sakshi. I'll select the subject. Let's say it's my first meeting. Nature of task would be first meeting. Due date is say tomorrow. Sakshi is the owner, right? So if I want to assign this to Anshul, I have to change the owner to Anshul because I'm creating this for Anshul, and I'll also put a reminder for tomorrow. Say it's I want to have it for 10. That's done. I'll save it. And so under open activity, you could see that Sakshi has assigned, created a meeting and has assigned this activity to Anshul. So as you could see now, Anshul is the owner of that activity. So now let's get into Anshul's account and see if Anshul can also see all these information, all these details. This is Anshul's account. Let's refresh this. Right, so Anshul, this is Anshul's account. So Anshul can see Sakshi's notes. Anshul can see all the activities done by Sakshi, and also Anshul can see this activity of the first meeting created by Sakshi and assigned to Anshul. So what Anshul has to do, so let's say today is 3rd of December and Anshul has already had a meeting with John and he wants to complete this task. So he'll simply hover here, he would see the green checkbox and he'll simply click on this green checkbox, and that while doing so the activity has been closed, which means the task has been completed, and as you could see it has moved under first meeting. Now say for example Anshul wants to have a follow-up meeting, so he'll create a task again created by Anshul. Subject would be for sales pitch. That's it today's. So it's Anshul. So now Anshul is assigning this task for himself. So he is not supposed to change the name, right? So he'll let this be Anshul only. So as you could see under open activities, it's under Anshul's name, and say again the time has come and Anshul simply clicks on this checkbox and again it's moved to the close activities, and minded all these activities which are created by Anshul or Sakshi, whosoever is the owner would be marked under them. So if I see the report, I could actually see that Anshul has done 2 meetings. It would be auto reflected there. Now let's understand why we need to change, the owner of the particular task. So let's say Sakshi again created a task for Anshul, and she somehow forgets to change the owner to Anshul. Right? She wants it to for she's creating this for Anshul, but somehow she forgets this. So she'll simply save it. We could see the first proposal. Let's see if Anshul can see this. Yeah, so Anshul can see this, and since Sakshi has not assigned this to Anshul, she forgets this. Let's me try with Anshul's account if I can complete this task. If I click on this, so see permission denied, And precisely that was the reason why I asked that Sakshi has to change the owner if she is assigning that particular task to anyone. Now, only Sakshi can close or complete this particular task. Let's see from here. She clicked on that green checkbox and it's asking, are you sure you want to mark this task as completed? Yes. And as soon as I complete this task, this would move from open activity to close activity, right? So here it is. So I'll refresh Anshul's account to see. I should be able to see 4 different activities under close activities, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now how this works. So now we have understood that how to create lead. We have understood how to assign owners and co-owners. We have understood how to create task calls. We have also understood how to put in notes if we do have any other information. If we want my owner or co-owner to be aware of any further or later information which I received while having a meeting or while having a call. So this is how it's done. Now let's understand that how we can convert this lead into deal, right? So since Sakshi and Anshul both are co-owners, both are owners to this lead, anyone would convert this lead into deal while simply clicking this green convert tab, right? So this is Anshul's account. So since Sakshi is the owner, so obviously if Sakshi would try to convert it, she would be able to. But over here, we'll try this doing with Anshul's account. I'll click on convert. So now you could see, before seeing this, let's see at the header. So, initially I already explained you the flow in Zoho. So let me show you where I explained. So it was here, right? So I told you that in Zoho, we first create lead, then we create account, and then we create deal. So same is the order of the header here. First is lead, then lead gets converted into account and contacts, and then that gets converted into deal. So now what happens? I'll simply click on the given option. So it says add to existing account, right? So this shows that Delhi shuttle Delhi hybrid, I already have this account. So would you like to add this information into the same account? I said yes. Or the other option is they're asking, Zoho is asking that we already have this account. Do you want to merge this information into that account, or would you want to create altogether a new account? So let's say in majority of the cases it would be a new account. So I'll click on this, that create a new account, and now it says a new contact John Doe will be created for this account. So account means company. So now they are saying that you have created a shuttle, you have created an account or a company by the name Shuttle, and you have assigned a contact person by the name of John Doe to this particular account. So they both would be created simultaneously. I said yes. Now they are also asking if I want to create a deal for this account which I have recently created. I'll say yes. I'll simply click on this. I'll get one more form, the information which I need to put in deal. And after filling these information, I would be able to convert one lead into what? This lead into account, then contact and deal at one single go. So let's see how it's done. Okay, one more thing which is very important over here. Let's revisit our first slide. So this says that we have already mentioned that it is our informed assumption that during the lead phase, pre-sales works for 80% of the time, and sales representative has 20% of the task to do. Wherein when it's into deal phase, salesperson has 80% of the say or the communication that needs to be established with client, and 20% is pre-sales job. So when we created a lead, pre-sales was the one who created it, which was Sakshi. Now when we are converting into deal, we suggest you to interchange your owner and co-owner, because now Anshul as a sales representative would be doing or would be interacting with client at a much higher rate than Sakshi. So considering that, I would be converting Sakshi as co-owner from owner. And see, this is what I mentioned. So now I'm converting it into deal. So since I have had multiple interactions with client, now as a sales rep or as pre-sales rep, I would be in a better position to understand that what kinds of offering I'm proposing to my client. So now it could be B2B. Let's say I started with hybrid. Now my client says they are looking for B2B dedicated. It would be B2B. This is probability. We'll try and understand this at a later stage, but as of now, the thumb rule is make it 100. This is nature of lead, right? You could select the best option which is suitable for your requirement, right? So let me write hybrid over there. Hardik would be very happy to see this. Even in examples, we are taking hybrid. So let's say it's company paid. So now this is stage of deals. So let's say I have, uh, you know, uh, had already built a contact, and now I'm into a relationship building phase. So I'll select this. This is the city, is Delhi. Lead source. So already their landing page. This is a pipeline stage. So as a practice we follow that if we are doing it for sales, if a salesperson is there, so that would be reflected under active pipeline. I'll select this is a weekly meeting status. What does that mean? So I'm not getting this, so let's see what is icon says. It says select the appropriate option for weekly review meeting. I still don't get it. Let's try and understand this while looking at the options. As soon as I click on the option, I see focus account and committed account. Oh, so this is basically, being asked during our each and every weekly review meeting that what all accounts we have for this particular month. We are committing the account for this particular month, and what all focus accounts do we have, right? That's basically the horror of the sales team, but we need to answer this. So this is keeping an account or that Excel sheet. So we have to select any one option from the given options. But since it's a very early stage of deal, so I have already selected YTD, which is yet to be decided, as a default value. So later in your stages, when you probably reach ENB or proposal sharing stage, you can change this option to either focus or committed, and we would be fetching the data of focus and committed from here itself. This is the amount, so let's say 5 lakhs. I have to change the owner to Anshul. Change owner. I've changed the owner. So it also asks for if you want to notify the existing lead owner, right? So I can click it, I can check it, or I can let it be. I can keep it the way it is. Let's again see this because it's very important. So first of all, I have created a lead. It has asked me if I want to create a new account of that lead, or if I want to merge it in the existing one. If coincidentally both the names are same, I want to have a new account. Then it asks that new contact has been created. Do you want to merge that account into the newly created one? And it's by default yes. I said yes to that also. Then they gave me an option to create a deal with the same information. I selected the checkbox, and I have to fill in certain information, right? And I could simply convert. I have, yes, very important thing, I have interchanged the owners and co-owners, which I have already explained why. Now I'll simply click on convert. Before converting, let me copy this name, right? So as you could see, uh, I have done three different operations, three different things, tasks, just by one convert button. What is it? I have created an account, I have created a contact, I have created a deal. So as you would see, this account and deal, they both have same name, right? Initially I told you, I'll also show you. So this is plus sign. As you could see, while we were creating a lead, there was a company name, right? And in this, it's written deal name. So now this is exactly what is represented over here. Whatever value name I have put in here, it actually converts into deal name. As you could see, I put shuttle Delhi hybrid and it has been converted into a deal name, right? So now this has become my deal name. Okay, so let's go into deal to see if this deal has been created or not. So this is for the very first time I'm visiting the deal page. Now let's try and understand what all different things, features, options we do have over here. So first of all, we have two different views. So this is tabular view. If I click on tabular view, I could see the information this way. This is my Kanban view, which we have tried to have the similar look and feel, a UI, the way we used to have in Pipedrive. So I would request and suggest that it's better to always select a Kanban view, right? Okay. Also, you would see many deals over here. So now what happens, if you are logged in with your account, you would be able to see those deals only to which you are either the owner or co-owner. I'll repeat it again. When you log in with your account, you could only see those deals to which either you are owner or co-owner. You want to select a deal, you could simply use these filters and you could say deal name. We'll try to search the deal name which we have recently created. I'll select this deal name. I'll put shuttle Delhi hybrid. Now it might so happen that you might only remember it was, shuttle and Delhi. So intentionally I'll put it only shuttle and Delhi, and I'll hit the apply filter tab. But before I hit the apply filter tag, let me suggest you that always use contain for any of the name. It could be deal name, company name, account name. The reason being, because when I select is, it simply gives me the exact value. What does that mean? If I have a deal with the name Shuttle Delhi, then only it will fetch me. And again, Shuttle Delhi only. Even if I have Shuttle Delhi hybrid, it won't give me result because it has only Shuttle Delhi. Now, when I click on contains, I will get all the deals which contains Shuttle Delhi. It simply works like Control F functionality in Word, right? So now I'll show you. I'll click on is. I've hit the apply filter. I will not see anything, right? These are my different stages. Now I'll put contains. I'll hit on apply filter. Right. So I can see different. And now you would see that I have one lead with name of Shuttle Delhi Hybrid, one other, though old lead with the name Shuttle Delhi Hybrid, right? So that's how you are able to see. Now if I click on this deal, sorry, when I click on this deal, I'll be able to see all the information regarding this deal. I'll click on this, right? So you could see that the deal owner is Anshul, co-owner is Sakshi, which we have recently changed, and all the information that we have actually put in there. Now, say for example, Anshul wants to, pursue this. So what he'll do, let's say he wants to have another meeting. So he'll simply create a task just like we have done it in lead section. It's exactly the same. Still, I'll give you one example. Let's say I have to submit a proposal. So this is the first proposal. Right? Save. So you could see its first proposal. A task has been created. As soon as Anshul clicks on it, this would move from open activity to close activity. Let's see how. So see, it has moved to close activity. So this is how different tasks could be performed under deal section. Now we could also see different stages and when they have been converted by whom. So you could say it was in contact relationship building, then in lead in, and what was the duration to which they were there, number of days, and when they have been modified by whom, right? So let's see, now I could see two different stages. Let's say I have had Anshul has had some meeting, and this lead has moved from lead in to say ENB directly. So this will ask every time that is there any change in the amount of deal, because with every discussion either the uh, offerings would increase or decrease. So basis on that it will always ask you to verify the details. So I say the details remain same. I'll click on save. Deal has moved to ENB. Let's see if this is reflected here. Oh yes, it's reflected here, right? So initially on app relationship building, then lead in, then ENB. By whom? By Anshul. Let's see the same with Sakshi's account. So this is Sakshi's account. Let's get into deals and want to see that same deal which we have created, but by using filter. So what I'll do, I know that Anshul is owner, right? So what I'll do, I'll put deal owner is Anshul. So now why we are using is because this is the option that we are getting a system generated and they are using email ID. So here I can use is instead of contain. I click on apply filter. So now what I did is that Sakshi could have created n number of deals for different sales representative, but here she just wants to see the deals which she has created for Anshul. Right, so this probably is one of the deal which she has created for Anshul, which is under lead in. And now let's say I want to also there are n number of leads, but so still I can put in this filter. Let's say shuttle, or let's say put shuttle only. And again I'll put it, change it to contains. I'll hit apply filter. So now I want to see the deal which Sakshi has created for Anshul, which and by the name of Shuttle, right? So let's see if we can see this. Okay, so there are two deals with the name of shuttle. One is ENB, one is into ENB stage, and one is into got work order stage. So this is the one which we are looking at, or which we have recently created. So now Sakshi will click on this deal, and she should be able to see all the information. Right? So she is able to see all the information into this deal. Now let's understand how to attach documents. So for that, let's hypothetically think that this lead has from ENB has moved to got work order, right? So this is got work order. Let's save. Now there are two things. First of all, the thing that we used to have in Pipedrive was, we had an option for one deals. Over here, we do not have that option for one deal. Here, one deal means, you could see, right? When we have cleared all these stages, then only we could mark it as one. So over here, what we define by one is we are defining by got work order, right? So as soon as you move this into work order, what you could do if you want to share this in Slack, I'll click on these three dots, share via Slack. You can select your channel wherein you want to post this. I'll say you could use the same thing, one deal, or got the work order. I would prefer got the work order because this, to be very honest, it's not one deal. Got the work order. I want to select the team. Let's say the out has been moved to got the work order, got work order, and Anshul wants to attach the documents. So what all different documents we were supposed to attach? Let's have a view. Right, so this was basically the flowchart which I have already shared. So this is, you have to share a proposal with client. When client gives you a confirmation either via mail or with any of the medium, preferably mail, we have two immediate deliverables. One is we have to share COF, uh, client onboarding form, with Rahul and Pushkar. The purpose of this COF is to understand, it's an internal process. We need to understand what all costing, we have proposed to client, and that's for the validation purpose also, and to understand our margins. The other one is you have to ask for the KYC documents. Uh, when you get the KYC document from your client, and this is for the future billing and invoice. Until and unless we have the KYC document, we cannot bill to our client. So this is the most important part of the whole lead and deal process. You ask for KYC documents. When you get the KYC document, parallelly you could ask for the agreement also. Now there could be two cases. If you share the agreement, so client might say that we want to use the shuttle format for agreement, which we could immediately share with the KYC mail. Okay, fine, here is our agreement format, please review it and get it signed. You will get that with KYC, there are high chances. Or client might say that we have our own format, we are sharing our format. Now what we will do, we will get it validated with our different stakeholders. Once validated, we'll ask client that okay fine, we are good to go, and then we'll sign, we'll get it signed with client and we'll submit it. Now what happens is, when we have done all the COF shared with Rahul and Pushkar, KYC documents, important thing, you have to share COF. You have to share KYC documents, get the KYC documents with your team. And here we are not saying that you have to get the agreement signed, but the condition is that at least you have to share the agreement with the client, right? Until and unless these conditions are fulfilled, no operation to be launched before fulfilling these conditions, we can see there, right? So now this stage comes wherein it asks if KYC received, COF received, agreement shared. Yes, operations can be launched. No, which means if even if any one of the condition is not fulfilled, we cannot launch the operations. You have to fulfill all these conditions. Now, KYC includes GST and COI and probably in certain cases cancelled check, right? So let's see how to attach these documents in the deal section. This is Anshul's account, right? So again, assuming that we have moved our deal from ENB to got work order, I'll go to attachments. I'll click on attach. I'll click on upload files. It asks me to click here and drop files, right? So assuming that I already have everything with me, so see what I have done. I have, give them a name for our better understanding and whosoever would be seeing this. So this might be viewed by legal team, operations team, supply team, or the people up in the hierarchy. So I have already mentioned KYC document 1, which is PAN card, KYC document 2, which is GST form, KYC document 3, which is COI, KYC document 4, which is cancelled check. So I'll select the KYC altogether first. I'll drop them, right? So these are the KYC documents which I'm uploading. Uh, then this is the COF which we discussed. This COF needs to be shared with Pushkar and Rahul. I'll share the COF. I'll attach COF here. This is the agreement shared with client. I'm not saying signed, but shared with client. Either it would be our format or client format basis on their ask. Right? So these are different documents which I have uploaded. So now what happens? No one, you need not have to share these documents over mails again and again. We could simply get into a deal. We could see it. Whosoever wants to download it, they can download it from here, right? So that's about deal. So now let's have a look at the analytics part. I click on analytics. So, these are certain already created dashboards, a pre-built dashboard which every user has. So you can click on these dashboards and could understand the statistics or the action items which you are doing. It would be reflected in form of graphs and charts. This one is shared by Pushkar to everyone. So basically, this is this one weekly status report. So this would be the charts or graph that we would be discussing while our weekly daily meeting. So this simply reflects how many calls, events, and tasks any individual has done. This is the same represent but only in graph form. This is the focus and committed account. Since this is Anshul's account, so he could see only his. Let me try and show you how it is reflected with the admin's account. So this is my account. So this is one of the admin's account. So now let's see how this is reflected to admin. So these are different activities and tasks, right? If I click on any of the tasks, let's say this is Anshul and he has done 22 tasks. If I click on 22, I could see a detailed report of those tasks, right? So these are the details pertaining to that particular task. Uh, these are the focus and committed accounts. So as soon as you make this habit of marking the focus and committed accounts, we would be simply getting the data from here itself. So say for example, if I'm looking at Amit's account, so he has 3 focus and 3 committed accounts. If I click on this, right? I'll get to notify these are three different committed accounts which Amit has marked for this particular month. This is the monthly revenue by users. This is the ENB total value, all the deals in ENB stage for different individuals. And this is the funnel, which I'll explain you later. This is the analytics part. So I hope this session was helpful. Uh, we'll try to have another session with doubts if at all anyone has, and also we'll try and understand more about reports and analytics part of Zoho. Uh, till then, have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.